Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel where we discuss activity that goes on here with the channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, sports, and even entertainment from time to time. But nonetheless, guys, I want to thank all of you for your support on New Tech as well as here on YouTube as we continue on into 2023.
We start things off from the New York Post. White House cocaine investigation conclude after just 11 days. No suspect ID'd. Secret Service. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Secret Service ended its investigation into cocaine found in the West Wing of the White House after just 11 days without identifying a suspect, enraging congressional Republicans who demanded answers about how an illegal drug got into one of the most secure buildings in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, now, if you've never been to the White House, it is the most secure building. This means that individuals who go there are either invited or have some reason to be there. When they arrive, they sign books. They're logged in for public record and for the records of the White House. And, of course, it is just covered in security in case something happens inside the White House, of course. However, ladies and gentlemen, let me posit this notion to you. The investigators investigated themselves and found no evidence. In a statement Thursday, the protective agency said its probe was closed due to a lack of physical evidence. After FBI forensic testing on the bag the cocaine was found in failed to turn up fingerprints or sufficient DNA. However, ladies and gentlemen, it took very little to get a Pfizer warrant to investigate Donald Trump's alleged Russian collusion, which went on for 2.5 years. Without physical evidence, the investigation will not be able to single out a person of interest from the hundreds of individuals who passed through the vestibule where the cocaine was discovered, the service said, of course. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they just admitted right there that they know that there were individuals there. They know who was there. They have it recorded. It's all recorded. However, of course, perhaps whoever it belonged to, of course, was going to, at least at the minimum, give the impression that security was lax there or there was a failure to secure the area, not to mention if it would go as high as even Hunter Biden. So, of course, at any point, as we have always talked about, government always has to look as though it is in control, that they have the answers, because government is confidence. If government loses confidence, if the people lose confidence in government, that's when things start to break down. And we're almost at a point, well, we're technically at the point where you guys don't need me, because you guys are, if you watch the program, you guys are common sense individuals who know what's going on. You don't need me to help you along the way. Now, of course, here on the BuzWeaver channel, we do take the difficult, we do take the tumult, we do take the chaos. We break it down into simple, digestible information so you guys can understand it. Because, of course, it isn't difficult. The media is a business. They want to protect themselves. They want to make their money. And, of course, they want to appeal to and please the federal government. Because if they need things like subsidies and tax breaks or loans and these sorts of things, of course, they want to be in with the feds as well as the White House, because they want to be able to do those breaking stories and be in the know should they need a lead. So as you guys know, 11 days. I mean, it would have taken 11 minutes for any cogent, rational, common sense thinking person in any authority in government to realize that the Pfizer warrant was absurd and ridiculous and baseless. 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, we have talked about this for so long. 2 years investigating Donald Trump for the most innocuous, absurd, ridiculous assertion. We have from Semaphore, or Semaphore, I like to call it Semaphore. So Semaphore, here are the investigations Donald Trump is under. So we have here, of course, the gloating and the finger pointing as continuing as it continues. The establishment uniparty. Donald Trump, who announced his third presidential bid earlier this year, has been indicted in New York over the Stormy Daniels hush money case. He continues to be under a host of criminal and civil investigations related to his time in the White House, as well as his business dealings. Here's a running list of those investigations. And I just want to start off here with the first one, of course, the January 6th riot. Because even when they find evidence, they don't stop. January 6th Capitol riot. And here we have it right here from NBC or CNBC, an affiliate of NBC. Senator quits Trump for inciting Capitol riot even as bipartisan majority votes to convict. So even when they have evidence, or when they have decided that Donald Trump was not the one who incited the riot, they must continue positing the thought that he was the cause because they need him to be that hill that they fight on. And we can see this here. Let me give you an example. Here's from the Twitter files. Less than 90 minutes after Twitter employees had determined that Trump tweets were not in violation of Twitter policy, Vijaya Gadde, Twitter's head of legal policy and trust, that's almost laughable, asked whether it could in fact be coded incitement to further violence. Coded incitement. And this is what we talk about, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to hate speech. How in the world can you have something like hate speech when it's incredibly nebulous? It's a matter of who's interpreting it. The left would consider what the right says as hate speech, and many way on the right would consider what the left says as hate speech. And in the middle would be us, most of us in the middle or within the boundaries of the middle, can realize that you get a group of politically charged individuals, and they're simply going to point fingers and say, that offends me. And of course, they're going to perceive that as hate speech. And here we have Vijaya Gadde, head of legal policy and trust at Twitter, basically interpreting what she wants to interpret it, knowing that her staff says, we have nothing here to really suspend Trump or ban Trump on, but to appease and to appeal to the progressives and the federal government and or the establishment, she proceeded to ban a sitting president from social media. Absolutely extraordinary. Now, many of you may remember, we have talked about it briefly, but people seem to forget what happened on May 29th in Washington, D.C. Now, this article came out, or this particular article was from May the 30th. Video, arrest in D.C. as activists take to the streets to support Minneapolis protests. Yeah, there was protests and rioting in D.C. Burn that flag where people were chanting, and you can see all the images. There's many videos of all of what happened during the Washington, D.C. riot over George Floyd and what happened in Minneapolis. It's very clear to see. You can see the paths that they took. You can see the areas that they set on fire. You can see where they were creating all this disruption, even setting fire to the St. Joseph's Church there that Trump was mocked over. They mocked Trump because the Secret Service had moved him to a bunker because these mostly peaceful protesters weren't mostly peaceful. They were disruptive, setting everything on fire. They even set the grass on fire to set the flags on fire. They set everything on fire. They use, obviously, you can see the signs here. I have to kind of flip through some of these. But this isn't a mystery, what happened on May 29th. And as I just mentioned, protesters' breach of temporary fences near White House complex prompt Secret Service to move Trump to secure bunker. So they were breaching areas, very similar to areas in the White House at the Capitol that were claimed to be breached, although the police let them in. And they mocked President Trump. The media and the left mocked President Trump because they moved into the bunker. He's afraid of the leftists. He's afraid of us peaceful protesters. And this is how they mocked him. Absolutely absurd if you guys weren't aware. And there is so much footage of what happened during their protest because these individuals love filming themselves and demonstrating, how virtuous they are for standing up to the man, standing up to Donald J. Trump, who has been under investigation. He went against the grain of the establishment uniparty, and they were going to take him down for it. The establishment was going to make absolutely sure that Donald Trump was not going to hold them back for another 4 years, so they injected a surrogate president, Joe Biden, and now they continue to try to maintain that control. They try to hold on to that power even when things are going on with the current president and his son. The overwhelming evidence and information that people have concerning Joe Biden and his son, not to mention all the shorts I have of demonstrating and showing the cognitive decline of this man, and I don't do it to be derisive. I'm simply showing that the establishment has no particular concern about the fact that Joe Biden struggles, and of course Kamala Harris just goes without saying. But nonetheless, guys, That's what I had for you this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments, and all of your participation throughout this 2023 as we continue building on the channel. And of course, below the channel, you can find the various Amazon links. If you guys use those, if you're an Amazon Prime user, or just order on Amazon, it does help out the channel, so I greatly appreciate that. That would be everyone on New Tech as well as YouTube. But those of you here on YouTube, seeing that channel icon there in the right-hand corner, you guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel, to include shorts as well that I do almost daily. And I'll see all you guys right there behind the Galaxy phone camera next week.